Welcome back to Horoscope TV. There is this really specific, almost strange feeling that happens right at the end of March.
Oh, yeah. Like you can physically feel it in your bones.
Exactly. You step outside your front door and, the air still has that sharp, cold bite of winter. It makes you shiver.
Right, but then the sun hits your face and it actually feels hot.
Yes. You are wearing a heavy winter coat because the wind is howling, but underneath it, you are starting to sweat.
It is so confusing to the senses.
It really is. It makes you restless. I mean, you can literally feel the earth trying to turn this massive page.
And, well, when we look at the astrological charts, for anyone born under the sign of Libra, for the week of March 23 to March 29, 2026, we are seeing that exact same push and pull.
So our goal today is to really analyze these astro charts and figure out exactly what this tension means for you if you are a Libra.
It is a fascinating picture this week. I mean, half of the sky is blowing these fresh, light spring breezes.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Right, but the other half is demanding heavy, serious, winter-level work. It is a week of incredible contrast.
And we are not just going to read off a list of dates to you. We want to understand the actual mechanics behind them.
Exactly. Like why you might suddenly feel this huge urge to quit your job.
Or why an old memory of an ex-partner might just pop into your head on a random Tuesday.
Or why your lower back starts aching out of nowhere.
We want to map out the architecture of your week.
Architecture.
Yeah.
I really love that word. Because moving from that breezy energy into the heavy stuff, it can feel like hitting a brick wall.
It totally can. But when you analyze the planetary movements, you realize you are actually the one building the wall. And you were doing it for a good reason.
So let us start right there. Let us look at the foundation. Because Monday, March 23, it does not feel like a brick wall at all.
No, not at all.
It feels more like someone just threw open all the windows in a stuffy house.
That is because the moon moves into the sign of Gemini. And for you, as a Libra, this is great. You are an air sign, and Gemini is also an air sign. So it is wind meeting wind.
Exactly. It removes all the friction. It brings this rush of curious, sparkling energy.
Oh, wow. So you just wake up feeling hungry for new ideas?
Yes, it is that spring fever feeling. Gemini is the sign of the twins, right? The gatherer of information.
Oh.
Just flits from flower to flower like a bee.
That sounds so fun. You suddenly want to read that book you bought 3 years ago.
Or you find yourself falling down an internet rabbit hole, learning how coffee beans are roasted. Or, I do not know how ancient Roman plumbing worked.
Right. Your brain just wants to play.
It does. So on Monday and Tuesday, just give yourself permission to be curious. Talk to a stranger in line at the grocery store.
Just let the wind blow you around a little bit. I love that. But looking ahead at the charts, I see a really massive speed bump coming up on Wednesday, March 25.
Yeah, the fun party comes to a screeching halt.
It looks intense. The sun forms a connection with Saturn.
It does. And that is when the universe demands absolute maturity.
Okay, I want to use an analogy here. It feels like you are at a really fun party on Monday. You are meeting all these new people, having a great time.
And then the school principal walks in.
Yes. The principal walks right into the party, turns on the bright overhead lights, and hands you a massive homework project.
That is the perfect way to describe Sun meeting Saturn. Saturn represents limits, rules, and gravity.
Why does Saturn always have to be such a strict teacher? I mean, is there a good side to this heavy feeling?
Well, think of it like pouring concrete. Saturn is the concrete.
Oh, okay. Pouring concrete is heavy.
Very heavy. It feels restrictive. You might wake up on Wednesday and just feel a sense of dread about all the boring tasks you have to do.
Like staring at a huge sink full of dirty dishes.
Or a stack of unpaid bills. Or even a difficult conversation you have been putting off for weeks.
It is totally the death of the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
But if it is like concrete, it is building a foundation, right?
Exactly. If you watch concrete cure, it gets hot, it traps things inside it, and you cannot move. But that heavy process is the only way to build a skyscraper that will not fall down.
So Saturn is basically doing you a favor, even if it feels terrible in the moment.
It is.
Yeah.
Saturn cares about your long-term survival. Because if we look at the end of the week, the strictness really pays off.
Okay, show me the blueprint. Where does this concrete lead us?
Well, on Friday, March 27th, the moon moves into Leo, bringing a massive wave of creative joy.
Oh, nice. Leo is fire, right?
Yes, so the air of Libra feeds that fire. And then on Saturday, March 28, Saturn connects with Pluto. That seals the concrete and gives you a completely solid foundation.
So the timeline is super clear. Monday, you get inspired. Wednesday, you do the boring, heavy work of pouring the concrete.
Right.
And because you did that, Friday, you get to have this huge, joyful bonfire on the patio you just built.
That is the exact sequence. But, it requires you to not run away on Wednesday.
And running away looks like what? Procrastination?
Yes. Seeing the mail and putting it in a drawer so you do not have to look at it.
But if you avoid it, the concrete still cures.
Right.
Just in a really crooked shape.
Exactly. And when the fun Leo fire comes on Friday, you will just be stressed out because your wall is collapsing. So take responsibility on Wednesday.
Which means actually doing the dishes and paying the bills. Now, I want to pivot because as a Libra, relationships are a huge deal.
Oh, absolutely. Libra is the sign of partnership.
Right. And if we are carrying all this heavy concrete for Saturn, that weight has to spill over into our love lives, doesn't it?
It naturally spills right over. Being mature is not just for work. When the sun meets Saturn in the area of relationships, romantic life requires a completely honest and highly patient approach.
So the honeymoon phase is paused here, too. Cancel the surprise trip to Paris.
Cancel the giant bouquet of red roses, yeah. Saturn wants to know if the load-bearing walls of your relationship can actually hold weight.
It reminds me of the difference between falling in love and actually loving someone.
That is a great distinction.
Falling in love is easy, like the Gemini breeze, but loving someone is waking up at 3 in the morning to take care of them when they are sick.
That is Saturn in love. It is taking out the trash without being asked. It is noticing your partner is stressed and quietly doing their laundry. It is absolute loyalty.
But what if you are single?
Then Saturn asks you to look at your foundation. Are you looking for someone to rescue you? Or are you building yourself into a secure person?
That kind of self-reflection is hard work. But the charts show a beautiful cosmic event happening the very next day on March 26th.
Yes, Venus connects with Chiron. This is huge for healing.
Venus is the planet of love. But who is Chiron?
In astrology, Chiron represents the wounded healer. It is the part of our charts where we carry a deep, old pain.
So when Venus meets this wounded healer, what happens?
It allows you to completely heal old romantic wounds and open your sweetheart again.
Wow. What does that actually look like in everyday life?
It looks like finally letting go of a past grudge. You might suddenly understand why you always pick fights when people get too close to you.
Like pushing them away before they can hurt you.
Exactly. And when Venus meets Chiron, you see that pattern with compassion, not shame. You realize you were just carrying pain from 10 years ago.
It is like cleaning out a messy closet.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. First, you have to do the hard work of looking at the mess, which is the Saturn duty.
Right.
Then you get to fix your favorite broken items. That is the Chiron healing.
And then finally, you have to be totally honest about what you want to throw away.
Which brings us to a strict warning in the charts on Saturday, March 28. Mercury squares Lilith.
This is a critical warning. Mercury is communication, and Lilith represents the shadow, the unspoken anger.
So talking crashes into unspoken anger. That equals mind games.
It is the ultimate recipe for passive aggression.
I can picture this perfectly. You are mad at your partner, but instead of saying you are hurt, you say, I am fine, in that really cold tone.
Then you start slamming cabinet doors in the kitchen.
Yes, hoping they will ask what is wrong so you can punish them some more.
The charts are saying you must avoid this entirely. Speak clearly to maintain peace. No secrets, no silly mind games.
Because if you do the healing work with Chiron, you will not need to play games. You can just say, I feel neglected today.
Exactly. Clear speaking is how you clean that messy closet.
Okay, so if we are getting our love lives organized and honest, I feel like our career and money are the next obvious steps.
They absolutely are. How you handle your kitchen is how you handle your office.
So let us look at work on Wednesday, March 25, the heavy Saturn day.
This is actually the most important day for career growth.
Wait, really? With all that heavy restriction?
Yes, because true professional growth means taking absolute, total responsibility for your future. Saturn forces you to step up.
So you cannot just sit around waiting for your boss to notice how great you are.
No, you have to build a bulletproof case showing your value. You have to be the adult in the room.
But I see a conflict here in the charts. On that exact same day, March 25, the first quarter moon is in Cancer.
Good catch. That means balancing your public career ambitions with your private home life. Cancer rules the home.
So your boss hands you a massive project, but your kid has a school play. Both are demanding your attention.
It is the ultimate work-life balance crisis.
How do you handle that without just collapsing?
You apply Saturn's maturity. You set a firm boundary. You tell your boss you will deliver great results, but you are leaving at 5 because your family needs you.
That takes a lot of bravery. But if you do that, does it pay off?
Massively. Because On March 28, Saturn connects with Pluto. This is a magical opportunity to completely transform your career path.
Pluto brings that lasting professional power, right?
Yes, but only if you poured the concrete earlier in the week.
It is like finding oil in your backyard, but only because you actually dug the well.
Exactly. Now, this directly affects your money, too. The strict Saturn energy means you must completely stop any silly impulse shopping.
So no lying in bed at 2 in the morning buying clothes online to cope with stress.
Saturn absolutely forbids it. You need to sit down and organize your daily budget. Look at every single dollar.
Okay, I have a practical question here. I want to push back on this.
Go ahead.
You are saying there is a bold, massive opportunity to transform our career and increase our wealth with Pluto.
Right.
But at the very same time, you are telling us to avoid risky contracts with that Mercury-Lilith clash and to count our pennies and stop spending.
Yes.
How do you balance being a brave visionary with being a super careful accountant?
It is a great question. It comes down to the difference between a calculated, hard-earned career move and a foolish, impulsive gamble.
Give me an example of a foolish gamble.
Feeling stressed at work, so you just impulsively quit, take out a huge loan, and open a bakery with zero business plan. That is a gamble.
It has no foundation.
Exactly.
Right.
But a calculated move uses Saturn's rules. You keep your day job, you organize your budget perfectly, you cut out the waste.
And you use that saved money to slowly build your side business.
Yes. You test the market. You read every word of the contracts. You are brave, but your bravery is backed by math.
Bravery backed by math. I really love that. But man, doing all this hard work, building careers, budgeting, healing emotional wounds, it sounds physically exhausting.
It is incredibly taxing. We have to check the health charts now.
Right. What is happening with the physical body on March 25 when Saturn is so heavy?
Saturn rules the structure, the bones, the joints. So that heavy conjunction might make your body feel very tired or physically stiff.
I always compare the human body to a car engine, and Saturn on Wednesday is like the heavy check engine light flashing on the dashboard.
That is exactly what it is, a harsh warning from the machine.
You cannot just keep driving at 90 miles an hour. You have to pull over and rest.
Which means the absolute priority must be getting plenty of deep sleep every single night.
Not just falling asleep on the couch with a podcast on. Actual silent rest.
Yes. And gentle stretching for those stiff muscles. Nothing crazy, just caring for the structure.
Now, does that Venus and Chiron healing we talked about affect the body too?
Oh, totally. Healing the spirit physically releases tension. When you hold on to anger, your shoulders hike up, your jaw clenches.
So when you forgive someone, your nervous system finally relaxes.
Exactly. And speaking of physical health, on Sunday, March 29, the moon enters Virgo.
Virgo is very organized, very clean.
Yes, and it brings a strong desire to clean up the daily diet completely.
So going back to the car engine, if Wednesday was the check engine light, Sunday is finally deciding to put premium fuel in the tank instead of junk.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You do not need complicated medical terms or crazy diets to do this.
Right. It is just simple choices. Eating a fresh apple instead of a sugary snack.
Drinking more water. Just giving your body the premium materials it needs to recover from all that heavy concrete.
It makes total sense. Okay, let us lighten the mood a little bit.
Let's do it.
Now that we know how to navigate the hard work and take care of our bodies, it is time to look at the social side. Who should a Libra hang out with this week?
The compatibility charts are super clear. The absolute best match is Sagittarius.
A fire sign. Why are they the perfect match right now?
Because they share the same highly optimistic and expansive approach to daily life.
Especially on Monday with that curious Gemini moon.
Exactly. Sagittarius will help you enjoy simple, beautiful fun. They understand your need for physical adventure.
So when you are exhausted from being strict all night, the Sagittarius is the friend who says, "We're going out, let's just laugh."
They provide loyal affection and deep respect. You are basically an unstoppable team this week.
Okay, I know exactly who I am calling, but who is the worst match? Who should we avoid?
It will be completely impossible to find common ground with Capricorn this week.
Wait, really? But Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. They love hard work. Shouldn't we be best friends right now?
You would think so, but it is an elemental clash. Capricorn is heavy earth. You are air.
Oh, so it just turns to mud.
Yes. On Wednesday, during that Cancer moon tension, you want to do your independent activities, but Capricorn wants to loudly rest.
Loudly rest. What does that mean?
They want to conquer boring emotional goals on their terms. If you are trying to be responsible but keep the vibe light, Capricorn will demand a soft blanket and complain about everything.
I am laughing just picturing this. You are trying to be strict and productive, and your grumpy Capricorn friend is just throwing off the entire vibe.
The intense Sun and Saturn energy will just cause arguments. You will act strict, and their unpredictable moods will disturb your peace. Avoid them entirely.
Got it. Hang out with Sagittarius, dodge the Capricorn. Now, let us quickly run through the fun extras. What is the color of the week?
The color of the week is pink. It brings a soft harmony to all that heavy Saturn work.
Nice. And the best dates.
March 23, 25, and 28.
And the lucky numbers.
Watch for the sixes. Your numbers are 6, 16, 26, 36, 46, and 56.
6 is all about balance, which is perfect for Libra. Okay, let me briefly recap the core theme so everyone has a clear map.
A map is definitely needed this week.
Start the week with curiosity on Monday. Embrace that fresh breeze. But midweek, you have to embrace the strict responsibility. Pour the concrete.
Right. Do not run away from the work.
Heal your heart from old wounds. Be very careful with your money. Get some deep sleep. And seriously, go find a Sagittarius to laugh with.
It is a solid plan.
Now, you always leave us with something to chew on. What is the final provocative thought for this week?
Well, we talked a lot about Saturn bringing heavy duty and Pluto bringing total transformation.
Yeah.
We think of duty as something we owe to our boss or our budget or our partner.
Right, it feels like an outside burden.
But what if the biggest duty you have this week isn't to any of them? What if your biggest responsibility is actually to the future version of yourself?
Oh, wow, the future version of yourself.
Yes. Every time you pay a bill, instead of ignoring it, you are buying peace for future you. Every time you sleep, instead of staying up, you are giving future you energy.
You are building a solid house so future you has somewhere safe to live. I absolutely love that.
It makes the heavy lifting feel worth it.
It really does. Thank you so much for analyzing these charts with me. It has been incredibly helpful.
It's always a joy to look at the stars with you.
And to you listening, thank you for spending your time tuning into Horoscope TV. We know you have a big week ahead. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you can get notified the moment the next episode is available. Have a wonderful week, and we will catch you next time.